Join me as I dive deep into the teachings of Buddhism and try to live by its principles for a whole week. Buddhism is one of the most ancient and profound philosophies that has shaped the way we think about life. At its core, Buddhism is not just a religion, but a way of living that offers a unique perspective on the human experience. And this perspective can be quite uncomfortable because it forces us to confront the harsh realities of life. One of the key principles of Buddhism is the concept of suffering. Buddhism teaches that suffering is an inherent part of life and that it's impossible to escape it. But what's even more important is that Buddhism offers a way to overcome this suffering and find true peace and happiness. So what exactly is this suffering that Buddhism talks about? Is it just about physical pain or emotional distress? Well, according to Buddhism, suffering is much more profound than that. It's the fundamental dissatisfaction that we all experience in life, the feeling that something is missing, no matter how hard we try to fill the void. As we go about our daily lives, we're constantly seeking happiness and fulfillment. We think that if we just get that new job or that new car or that new relationship, we'll finally be happy. But the problem is, happiness is always fleeting. It's like trying to grasp a handful of sand. The harder we squeeze, the more it slips through our fingers. Let's take a step back and look at our lives. We're constantly chasing after things that we think will make us happy, but in reality, they only bring us temporary pleasure. We're like hamsters on a wheel, running faster and faster, but getting nowhere. The truth is, our lives are built on shifting sands. Everything is impermanent, and nothing lasts forever. Our health, our relationships, our possessions, everything can be taken away from us in an instant, and that's what Buddhism means by suffering. But here's the thing, we don't have to be slaves to our desires and attachments. We don't have to be controlled by our fear of loss and impermanence. Buddhism offers us a way out of this cycle of suffering, and it's through the Four Noble Truths. The first truth is that suffering exists. It's a fundamental aspect of life that we can't escape. The second truth is the suffering has a cause, our own desires and attachments. The third truth is the suffering can be overcome. And the fourth truth is that there is a path to overcoming it. So what is this path? Well, it's not about achieving some kind of mystical enlightenment or transcending the material world. It's about living in the present moment, free from attachment and desire. It's about cultivating mindfulness and compassion and seeing the world as it really is. One of the most challenging aspects of Buddhism is the concept of detachment. It's not about cutting ourselves off from the world, but about cultivating a sense of inner freedom. It's about recognizing that everything is impermanent and that true happiness comes from within. Buddhism is not about escaping the world, but about engaging with it in a more mindful way. It's about recognizing that our actions have consequences and that we have the power to create positive change in our lives and in the world around us. As we delve deeper into Buddhist teachings, we begin to see that they're not just about personal liberation, but about creating a more compassionate and just society. We begin to see that the path to enlightenment is not just about individual achievement, but about recognizing our interconnectedness with all beings. So, what does it mean to live according to Buddhist principles? It means recognizing the impermanence of all things and cultivating a sense of detachment. It means letting go of our attachments and desires and finding happiness in the present moment. It means living with mindfulness and compassion and seeing the world as it really is. In the end, Buddhism is not about some lofty ideal or abstract philosophy. It's about living in the real world with all its imperfections and uncertainties. It's about recognizing the harsh realities of life and finding a way to overcome them. As we reflect on the teachings of Buddhism, we're forced to confront the reality of our own existence. We're forced to confront our own desires and attachments and to recognize the impermanence of all things. And that's what makes Buddhism so uncomfortable, yet so liberating. So, what do you think about the teachings of Buddhism? Do you agree that the key to true happiness lies in living in the present moment, free from attachment and desire? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check out our next video where we'll be exploring mindfulness practices in more depth.